welcome back to The Fuzz. This is my knitting podcast. My name is Zelda, and today is actually going to include some crochet and some embroidery as well, so that might be exciting for those of you who are into that. I guess I'll just get started by saying it has been like 6 months since my last episode. The plan originally was to do it month by month, and then bi-monthly, and then I did actually record another video in between. There might be snippets of that in here, and the reason I didn't upload it is because I don't know, I just didn't like my vibe. Do you ever just like not like your vibe and it's like, okay, well, I'll wait another 2 months then. That is essentially what I did. So I did film that for you, and then I hated it, so I never, no. But there'll be snippets of it in here for certain projects that I don't have anymore. And moving forward, I'm still hoping to do this bi-monthly. It just really depends when I get a minute to like get all the projects rounded up together and have some finished things to show you as well. So today there's more than I think there will typically be, if we can even stick to that bi-monthly plan. But this, at the moment, is really just for me to have a place to look back and see all the things that I created at different stages in my life, see what I was like in different stages of my life. And yeah, I'm really happy if you're here sort of going on that journey with me. So, I'm gonna start by showing you some gifts that my beautiful Auntie Selma gifted me. She is a crocheter, and there's more than what I'm about to show you, but some of it's sort of like in use, so hard to show. It's like on furniture and it's a whole thing, but here's what I will show you. So the first one is this like nice little shawl-y wrap, and there is a dual-toned green one, which is the same. And that is on my bedside table. Well, not this one, but the other one. So it's hard to show, but yeah, really beautiful. Would have taken me ages. And especially given that I'm very new to crochet, I am so happy to have some crochet pieces in my home. Next from my Auntie Selma was this crochet blanket. It is so beautiful. I alternate it between another crochet sort of granny stitch blanket from my partner's grandmother on our coffee table. Our coffee table is a perfect square, and so are both of these beautiful blankets. And yeah, that's where I display them. This is my personal favorite of all the things that Auntie Selma made, and just like a huge thank you to her, because I know how long this stuff takes and it could not have gone to a better home. Oh, last but not least, this is actually in use at the moment, but Auntie Selma also did crochet this tote bag. Really beautiful, really nice and stretchy. Right now it's housing one of my whips, so we will discuss its contents later. Oh yeah, this is a mug that I got with my good friend Freya, who is also a Cancer, and we got matching ones. We both love mugs, so... speaking of Freya, actually, I finished the headband mentioned in my previous podcast. That was the purple the purple double knit headband, and then I did actually end up embroidering just one yellow pigment on there. Oh yeah, let's talk embroidery very quickly before we get into all the knitted goodness. I have been getting into embroidery, just sort of dipping my toes in. I decided to practice a little bit in preparation for embroidering that pigment onto knitwear, because I've never embroidered directly onto knitwear before. The first one was just practicing my embroidery stitches on this. I didn't use a pattern, I just drew it out with a pencil and just practiced things like my back stitch, a couple French knots in the middle of the flowers, and yeah, my first ever little embroidery thing. And this just hangs from the back of my bedroom door. And then to move on to practicing embroidering into knitwear, I showed this in my first podcast, which was the Kachu. So it's like a little headscarf thing, and I embroidered some roses onto it. And I think this stitch is called like the wagon wheel stitch or something, or a pinwheel stitch. But it basically makes these beautiful little roses, and it was very on theme because I was watching the Tudors and I was like, wow, I feel like I'm a medieval wench just like doing my thing. So that was my practice embroidery to show you. Okay, now we are on to the part that everyone's been waiting for. Like, let's face it, everyone's been waiting for it. The knitting section. So, starting with what I'm wearing, this is the scrappy stripe minus the stripes. I knit this up from Mona Kay's pattern, and I've talked about it in my previous video, so I won't go into detail about it, but that's what I'm wearing. So the first thing I'll show you is these fingerless mitts. I've never made fingerless mitts before, these are my first ones. And it was really easy. It was like basically just a square with like a hole in it. This yarn, it was, I think, the Magic Merino in like a mustard yellow, and it was kindly gifted to me by my friend Maxim, so shout out Maxim. Yep, you're on the podcast too. And I don't know where I put it, but I have a matching cabled headband that I'm knitting from the same yarn to match these. So it'll be like a cute little matching set moment. Pattern I used for these is just called the Beginner Mitts, and it's by Danny Sunshine and Kate Metherell? Sorry. Now this is technically a whip because I'm actually going to sew in a lining and a zip, but my partner's cousin was like, I kind of want a clutch, like maybe like a really minimal one and like a more funky one. So this is like the more minimal one, I would say. I think this is 100% wool. Most of the yarns I'll be talking about today, I actually didn't purchase, and most of them I don't know what they are. My partner's grandmother recently passed, and she was a knitter, and left all her yarn to me as the only knitter left. So yeah, I don't really know what most of these yarns are. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of question marks in some of the things I show you because I have no idea what they made. I don't even know how old the yarn is. Like, it could be from the 70s. I would have no idea. That's that. I didn't use a pattern for it as well. I just knit a big rectangle, folded it over, and seamed it along the side. Even this I-cord little loop, I just knit that separately and then I sewed it on really tight. So it's not budging anywhere. Here's the problem, right? I knit a lot of stuff, but a lot of it's gifts, and I don't have a lot of it left to show you. So the other one I'll talk about, I'll just attach a picture somewhere, is a beret from my friend Davis. Now, I let him pick the yarn, but it was an acrylic, and I noticed that, like, the beanie itself doesn't really slouch, it doesn't really bean, and I think the yarn I used might have been slightly too stiff, so I would really love to redo a beret at some point in the future, maybe with, like, a cotton or something just a lot more slouchy, but I think for my first go, this was pretty alright. From the top, it looks very beret-esque. It's more like from the front view, it kind of gives beanie Jack sweater. So I don't have a picture of this, but for context, I knit Jack an entire sweater. Jack is my partner. And it was the Southwood sweater. I forget the name of the designer, but I will link that below. And it was, I spent months and months on it, and then I finished it completely, He maybe had it about 2 weeks, and then it accidentally got put in the washing machine. And, yeah, it didn't survive. There were just massive holes all over it, like the shoulder was like basically coming out. So I had to unravel the entire sweater. Like, it was unmendable. I tried at first. I was like, maybe I can just mend these holes with like a crochet hook. It'll be fine. But they were too damn big. Holes through the ribbing, holes through seams. Like, it was tragic. Honestly, I'm just so sad now when I look at the yarn that I think I'll wait a while before I commit to doing that again. 'Cause, yeah, didn't feel good. In this bag, we have another sweater whip, but this is for me because I'm worthy. And this is the patchwork pullover pattern. It is far from being finished at the moment. So right now I have, these are the two sort of sleeve panels. And then I have the beginnings of the front body panel. So that's really exciting. I'm really taking my time with it though. Just since I'm still sort of sad about Jack's sweater, I'm like, I just want to leisurely knit something now, because I grinded that one out and it got destroyed instantly. This is my little cheeky self-care project, I want to say. That's how I'm kind of treating it, especially because I do knit, like the majority of my craft is gifts at this point, and it just feels so, yeah, cheeky to knit something for myself. Which is stupid. Like, I signed up to this to be a selfish knitter, but I just can't help but knit other people gifts. Let me know if that's something you sort of struggle with too. Like, it's not even that I feel obligated to do it. Like, they don't put pressure on me to do it, but it's just like, if someone asks, I just do it. Like, it's just, oh yeah, I have no money, I will just knit you something, obviously. So, one thing I also knit was Cherry's leg warmers. So Cherry is my partner's sister, and I love her. She's very knit worthy. And yeah, for her birthday I knit her these cute little pink leg warmers. I didn't use a pattern. I knit them out of a 4-ply alpaca I knit them out of a 4-ply alpaca blend. And yeah, they were really fun. They were really cruisy to knit. It was just ribbing all along, and then some eyelets for some cute little bows that I tied in. So this is called the Alas Muriel Hooded Cow. And look at that lace work. I'm like, come on. Come on. It's my first ever lace, and I could not be prouder of it. It's really basic, but this is actually a hood that I was knitting for the Abbey Medieval Festival here in Queensland, but I didn't end up finishing it in time. And honestly, I'm not mad, because it's a fun knit and I kind of didn't want it to be over, and the Abbey comes to town every year, so yeah, I'll just finish this cruisy now at some point throughout the year and have it for next year's festival. I recently learned how to crochet. I'm not like the best at it yet, but I'm like getting the hang of it and it's really exciting. I knit my first couple of granny squares like last week, and honestly that was like the highlight of my week, was crocheting those granny squares. Ooh, we blurry. So yeah, these are my first ever granny squares. I think this was my first one, actually. But yeah, I decided to turn it into a little cozy for this like remote control organizer. And then I went a little bit crazy and I was like, okay, the funky pouch that I'm gonna knit for Jack's cousin is gonna be a crochet granny square. So this was just like a big granny square that I knit and then I folded over, I sewed in a lining so that stuff doesn't like fall through. You can put your headphones in there, or like a bobby pin, and it won't just slide through. And last thing I've just got to do is sew a little button so you can close it. There's a lot more than what I've showed you. In fact, there's a whole stack of about 20 little cotton ones that I'm in the beginning stages of, maybe like a top, like a granny square crop top type thing. I also knit this little pillow for my cat. I crocheted it. I used all my leftover yarn to stuff it, which was really handy because my like scrap bag was just getting too hectic. But she actually just sleeps on this in a little bed with a little head on the pillow like a human. It is so cute. I was just on a bit of a high after stuffing this with the scraps, and I was like, oh, I need another thing that like when I have scraps I can just put it in there, and then I feel like I'm doing 2 projects at once, because I hate weaving in ends with like a passion, and the patchwork sweater has a lot of ends to weave in, so I just wanted something that I could sort of stuff with those ends as I go. So to commemorate my partner finishing the Skyward Sword, The Legend of Zelda, I'm I'm crocheting a korok. Yeah, here's his little legs, his little arms, his little head. I'm using the pattern, I think it's just called Korok, and it's by Isabella Farrow. And it's a free pattern, so you can go crochet a little korok too, and it's super beginner friendly. All I have to do is one more horn, but I'm saving it so I can have a little more stuffing inside, and the big leaf face. So, that's all I have to show you today. It's kind of a big mishmash of knitting, crochet, embroidery. There is more than that as well, but it's all sort of whips. Like I have like a yoga mat bag that I'm working on, the granny square top that I mentioned, and of course some whips that I mentioned in the last podcast that I pretty much haven't touched since then. So that is the Fermata shorts and the fingering weight summer top that I'm sort of ad hocing my way through. Those are sort of on hiatus still as it stands, but everything else I think I either finished or was destroyed horrifically. That's what I've got for you today. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you would actually like these more than bi-monthly, or if there's any other like things you would like to see. I have a few ideas in mind. Knitting from franchises that I like was another idea that I think could be really fun. So let me know if you're interested in any sort of A Song of Ice and Fire, The Witcher, any sort of fantasy series like that, Lord of the Rings. I'm really interested in knitting up some pieces and finding some patterns to like match those particular vibes. So yeah, let me know, and have a fantastic week and life and month and bi-monthly whenever I see you next. Okay, bye!